engineer, he went underground and dug underground and put a bunch of TNT and linked it up to the wall to watch me blow up. And it left a huge crater. I mean, he had to have a ton of it under there because, I mean, instant death. It was...
You know your fans are going to pirate it, so you might as well put it on Spotify.
Exactly. And this is why you don't steal cookies.
Could you imagine looking at that kid's face?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the theretrorents Retro Gaming Podcast. It's our 34th episode. We're getting older. And I am Al.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Nick.
Yeah, 34 episodes, man. Pretty crazy. This is the longest
Getting
thing
up there.
this is the longest thing I've stuck to since I had a band. To which Nick can attest. I think that was an 8-year endeavor.
We had a good run.
We sure as hell did. God damn. Not many other people could say they partied with Bud Gone, Eric Wilson of Sublime.
Mm-hmm.
Right after eating as much red meat as we could fathom over at the Chiaroscuro, what the hell are they called? Radizio. In, what was that? That was over in Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Oh my god. I still don't think I ever ate as much red meat.
Oh, that was a Brazilian place there, right?
Yeah. The meat
I've been there.
The meat sweats are real.
Yeah, I've been to that place. It's ridiculous. The meat sweats are real, and they got a ridiculous salad bar there too.
I was gonna say the salad bar was the shit. They had sushi. They had everything.
That was the real trap, because you were like filling up on all this stuff. You're like, and then they bring out the meat, and you're like,
oh! It's so true though. Oh my god, and the meat. Jesus God, did we eat meat? And that was like. So there we are gorging ourselves in the middle of New York. We finished that up, and we have like an hour and a half to walk off the meat sweats before we go into the Roseland Ballroom to, get friends and family seating at the Sublime with Rome show, and it's like 100,000 degrees in there. So, what an adventure that was, though. That was good times.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went back to the hotel, and the bunch of us were there, and me and Dave were drunk, and Dave was shouting out the window to people as they walked by.
Yeah, that's right.
God, I wish I could find the camera tapes of that. Our buddy just got annihilated, and he would just like shout out to random people, "I'm lonely. Talk to me." I think Kyle tripped over his dog. It's like that clip in the Jerky Boys. Oh, Christ.
Oh.
What have you been up to, Nick?
Well, just this past weekend, I went up to the USS Massachusetts and Fall River, Massachusetts.
Nice.
Wargaming was running an event there, so it was kind of a gamer day.
Whoa.
So they had terminals set up.
Uh-huh.
Terminals set up to play their game and also, do tours of the ship. So
Oh, wow.
decided to make a weekend of it. The weather was perfect. And
Yeah,
it's a really nice thing. It's actually called Battleship Cove. So obviously the USS Massachusetts there.
Uh-huh.
And they have several other ships there.
Oh,
They got
wow.
a destroyer, a lionfish submarine, and like a PT boat and one other boat. I wasn't able to get to those boats because I spent most of my time on the Massachusetts. But I just love seeing these old warships.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. That's always cool. That's awesome, though. Man, that sounds like you had a whole weekend of it. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So how was the event?
The event was great. They just had the game set up, and you could actually play with their special dev accounts or
Mm-hmm.
manager accounts, or whatever. So had a ton of ships unlocked that you might have never been able to play with before.
Oh,
And,
wow.
handing out free codes and whatnot. It was great.
That's cool. So you're becoming something of a something in that community, it seems like.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm trying to make my way into it, and trying to work towards like being a community contributor and
Yeah.
trying to expand what I do.
That's awesome, man. I'm really glad to hear that. Like, it's a thing to do if you can do it. I mean, I know the wargaming developers and the community themselves are really encouraging of stuff like that, kind of like the Warframe community is over at Digital. Oh Christ, I can't remember the name. The developers of Warframe. Sorry, guys, but they're awesome with their community too. They're very very supportive of their community contributors. So I love seeing that. I love seeing that, like with groups like that and wargaming and all that. It's just, I don't know.
I mean, mad respect for the studios and or their at least their community management teams and whatnot that actually do that kind of outreach, because I don't know, to this point, like it always seems like something extremely rare that you never really see. It's like, yeah, you have the people like managing the forums and the Twitter accounts these days, and there's always a community manager of some sort in with every single major game there is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like with wargaming and then the Warframe people too, and I think there's one or two others I can't think of off the top of my head, but it's like it's extremely rare that they'll do more outreach in terms of like doing these types of events and whatnot with their community outside of maybe like a major event like PAX or like an E3 thing or something like that.
Sure. But I mean, as we'll see when we get to news, planning events is a tough thing. Especially events based on games. We'll get there. Let's just say some people got an extra hour in the ball pit.
Oh boy.
I'm glad someone knows what that is. Oh, awesome. Other than that, what have you been up to, Mr. Kyle? Assuming you're back.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. My dog came in and jumped on my phone. He's a little crazy right now. Not too much, man. Had a pretty good weekend. Pretty chill. Went out yesterday with some friends, so that's always kind of good to get out for a little.
Hell yeah.
Bowled, and I broke 100, so I was happy. I'm a terrible bowler.
Oh, you bowled?
Went bowling. Yeah, went bowling, broke 100, and it's as long as I break 100, I'm happy. I am a terrible bowler.
Dude, I'm lucky if I break 50. Don't tell me terrible.
Yeah, I asked for the bumpers. They said no.
Oh, denied.
So yeah, like bumpers. Aren't you a little old for that? It's just like,
no, god damn it! Now give me the goddamn bumpers.
Yeah. Well, I had nothing witty to come back, so I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I guess.
So I got some stuff fixed on my house again. Like nothing major, but got to do some work on the house and spend some time with the kiddos. My parents made dinner for us, so it was kind of nice.
Oh, awesome.
It was a nice chill weekend. As far as what I'm watching and playing, I started playing Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon, the free game on Xbox Live.
Oh yeah,
and it's really good. It's heavily Castlevania influence. I think you told me it was the
yeah, it's the original creator of Castlevania.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. And it even has some of the Castlevania annoyances, like getting hit back.
Yep.
Oh, that's there, but you can turn that off actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I thought was an interesting thing for people who aren't used to that type of game. So I'm not gonna lie, I turned it off a couple times where I was stuck, and it helped me get through a spot. So the mechanics are cool. Being able to change different characters that all have different play sets is a pretty cool, is a pretty unique idea. You actually play as a vampire, as one character, as a vampire alchemist. I don't remember it's a girl with a whip. I don't remember what she is, and then you're the demon hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much is the main character. So I'm enjoying it though. I'm on the last stage. I'm about to beat the game.
Yeah, it's not a very long game.
It's not, and it's tough, but it's not like super tough. I don't think it's like as hard as some of the older Castlevania games, but it's still a fun game.
Although that last stage is a bitch. I don't think I actually ever beat it.
It gets tough, especially like you fight a painting, and if the painting touches you at a certain point, you just lose that guy instantly.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a pain to figure that out. Pro tip: be the alchemist and just put the flame around yourself, and the painting can't even touch you. So,
ooh.
Nice.
Yeah. Once you figure that out, it's easy. So let's do that. I'm about to beat that. Been playing a lot of Tetris 99. I don't know if either of you guys have played that at all.
heard
I haven't
that.
played it, but I'll get to it when it comes to my turn. But I wound up watching Eric Bichard AZ Rockslide in our Save Point group. He's also the co-host Everyday Gamers. We all did a charity marathon over the weekend. Again, I'll go in more detail later. But he played that for his 3 hours. And I literally sat there and watched for 3 hours almost and had a blast.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. The way you can attack people and they can attack you. And just that you're playing 99. For those who don't know, it's like a battle royale only with Tetris. So you play against 99 other people, and then you have your waste when you do like a Tetris, or when you break so many lines, and you can decide where your waste goes. So you can I usually point it at knockout, so people who are close to getting knocked out, that's where all my waste goes. But I'm so good at keeping only 3 lines for most of the game. But once I break top 50, it's like everybody seems to attack everybody. Yeah. My best, I think, was a 12. I think I got to 12th place was my best.
Wow.
12th or 10th, I don't remember. But it gets insane when they play the sound 50 players left, and it starts to go faster. And at one point, I think I had 6 people attacking me at once. So you see all the lines go to mine, and I'm just I am fucked. And I think it was 10 seconds later, I was out. I mean, you can have nothing, and in seconds, you're out.
Yep.
So
yeah, if they all gang up on you.
Yep. It's super fun though. I'm really enjoying it. And I haven't really been sucked into a Tetris game since I was a kid. So it's kind of cool jumping back in.
It looks wicked fun.
It is. Let's see. My son's been playing a lot of Minecraft, and we've been playing a lot of 2-player, and so we both built houses, and they're right next to each other. But he's been pranking my house. Every time. So the one time he's like, "Hey Dad, you want to play?" I'm like, "Sure." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in my house and get this out of the treasure chest." And it's it's just filled with cats. He put thousands of cats in there. So I open the door and they all come running out and they're all meowing, and it's what did you do? And then the other one, he built this building with this really cool looking building with all these switches inside, and he's like, "Oh Dad, go and check out what some of the switches do." So I'm hitting some of them and they don't do anything. I hit the one and the whole building explodes and it kills me. Yeah, he went underground and dug underground and put a bunch of TNT and linked it up to the one to watch me blow up. And it left a huge crater. I mean, he had to have a ton of it under there because I just instant death. It was
dude. This is what happens when you let them watch Looney Tunes all day.
I know, right? It's been pretty funny. So
that is a riot.
Pretty hard. Yeah,
that's something you almost
good.
Want to record and just see what he catches you on.
I know. I got to get some kind of a video capturing thing for the Switch. I don't have anything for that, so I really wish they would have some kind of streaming service on there built in.
It seems like a natural fit for it.
PlayStation has it. Does Xbox have one?
Xbox has one, yeah.
Mixer, baby.
You can.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They have that, and you can download Twitch on Xbox, so you use either or.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm actually having a good time. I didn't think I would enjoy Minecraft as much as I've been, but it's been making me laugh pretty hard.
That's pretty awesome.
And let's see. We took the kids to see Lego Movie. It was pretty good. Yeah, if you like the first one, you like this one. There's not much difference.
Okay.
It's the same silliness.
I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah. Oh, you'd like this one then. There's a song where they sing. It's this song's gonna get stuck inside your head.
Oh no.
And they're not kidding. It gets stuck inside your head. It's a catchy earworm, and it's damn it, it worked.
Is it as bad as Everything Is Awesome?
Yes, and they play that in there too. There's a part where it's a part where it's the doom is coming, and they sing Everything's Not Awesome. So it's pretty good.
That's
and
awesome.
Finally on Netflix, I'm watching. I feel like I've done a lot this week, but I'm watching Umbrella Corp.
Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. If you like, did you like what's that one called? The Watchmen.
I didn't really
see
it. No.
I
know what it is, but
yeah, it's like a darker comic movie. This is kind of the same way. It's not they're the greatest people saving the world. I mean, they have their own issues that they deal with. It's more a realistic. But I don't know. We're only 3 episodes in. We're not really sure where it's going yet. The characters are all really interesting though. we're digging it. It's pretty cool. So we're interested to see where it goes. I don't think it's related to Resident Evil at all, but I don't know the lore of Resident Evil enough to know if this is just going way back before it all started.
It's hard to say because the title has, it looks like the umbrella symbol of the Umbrella Corporation. So I don't know. I mean, I got to watch the series. I mean, that'll be a first step. But I feel like I don't know, I feel like they were promoting it as something Resident Evil before they released it. At least that's what I saw in a couple, like, Kotaku and stuff like that talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even the things I've read said that it was a comic book based, who was it written by? Anyway, it was a comic series, so I don't think it has anything to do with Resident Evil. So I'm not really sure where they got that from, because I remember reading the same thing. I think we even talked about it on a previous cast, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but if this is what they were talking about, I don't see how it can relate to that. I mean, it's a bunch of superhero children.
Yeah.
That I'm not going to give away a lot. It's nothing. And if you watch the previews, it's the same thing. But these women got pregnant the same, like, in a day, and had their babies that day. It was just out of nowhere.
Oh, damn!
And this dude buys them.
If only
one day and you're out.
Oh,
but this dude, I forget his name, but he buys them. He buys 7 of them, and it happened to 42 different kids, and he's turning these kids into superheroes, pretty much. And it's pretty much about that and how they dealt with their childhood and growing up with a father that didn't give 2 shits about him, except for saving the world. So
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I'd check it out. I think it's worth it.
Sweet.
So, yep. That was my week in a nutshell.
All right. Nick, I kind of cut you off. What have you been playing and watching aside from your Wargaming Fest?
Still working my way through Witcher 3, realizing, like, this game is huge. It's going to take me forever to beat this.
Yes,
so
it will.
Still chucking away at that. I've also I've gone into, like, a Gerard Butler marathon, apparently, because I decided to watch Geostorm, which is on HBO right now.
Any good?
Holy crap, is that bad?
Oh. Okay.
Like, don't watch it unless it's somehow free, or it's like, through, like,
somebody else has it on and you have nothing else to do.
Like, you got your Netflix on, and it just happens to be on. It's like, that should be the only way you watch it. It is just, like, crazy bad.
Wow.
I mean, we're I'd almost say, like, Day After Tomorrow type bad. So, if you enjoyed that, you'll enjoy this.
Well, I enjoyed Day After Tomorrow, but my limits are short.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that was pretty bad. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, though, Hunter Killer.
Hunter Killer.
You know me. I like my submarine movies. It's like,
I'm with you.
Let's check this out. It's actually really, really good. It's kind of like they do take a lot of tropes and cliches, but that it actually mixes quite well in the movie. It's kind of got a little bit of Hunt for October. They got a little bit of like any kind of like SEAL Team 6 movie in there. I'm trying to think what else, but it's actually a decent movie. I was like pleasantly surprised. Like I was like, okay, here comes another crap fest. Let's see how bad it is. It was actually really, really entertaining. I would say it's worth at least maybe like a rent, or if you really go for it. Like for me, I ended up just buying it. Like, this is actually something I'll watch later.
Yeah, I love my sub movies, so I'm definitely tempted to give that a shot. Oh, okay. I guess that's it for you then?
Yeah, that's about it. Not much else.
All right. As for me, this past Saturday, I joined the Good for Gaming crew. We did a charity marathon starting Friday night for Able Gamers, which is a great charity that raises money to purchase peripherals, or to get peripherals or setups for people who are disabled, to allow them to play video games again with their friends and their family. And they were actually the ones that worked with Microsoft to build that new adaptive controller that they showed off a couple months ago. I believe it's out now. But they do really awesome work, and there's some really great stories on their page of people that they've raised money for and helped. So I did a 3-hour marathon for that with the Good for Gaming crew. Thank you to, Rock Slide, all of yous. I mean, pretty much all of Good for Gaming showed up and hung out on my stream for a little while. I played some Bard's Tale 4, and I did play Anthem quite a bit. Which
how's that going?
I love it. I do enjoy it. It has its flaws, and we're going to talk about them. So I was in the 10-day early access because I have Origin Premiere, and everything was fine, perfect. Had a blast. It did have load times for sure, and that's if immediately the first gripe that comes to mind. Everybody's heard about it by now. This shit has load times that are like Commodore 64 bad. And everybody's like, oh, it's better if you put it on your solid state drive. Well, fuck you. I've got 200 other games on here that look just as great and crispy as Anthem, and none of them load that bad. So I'm not just going to switch it over to my solid state drive to shave off a minute, whatever. They need to get their shit together on that. I'm not normally one to gripe about that kind of thing, but it's bad. Like, to the point where I was feeling guilty on my stream and, like, practically singing show tunes to keep people entertained while it loaded into another area.
And you have a new beefy system, too.
Oh,
right?
Dude, this system is top of the line, built to the balls. There's no reason this game should take that long. So, it's horrendous on the loading times. That aside, it's still a really fun game. The combat is great. You feel like Iron Man. You feel like you're flying around like Iron Man, and that is just it translates really well. Story is good so far. I mean, it's definitely got a BioWare feel to it. Perhaps not as deep as a lot of their other games go. You can make choices in conversation, mainly one choice or the other. So you only get like 2 choices, and it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. I think it's just to get you through one plot point to another. I mean, I will just say there's a ton of potential here. It's got a very solid foundation when it comes to its combat. Some things do need some work, though. But I will say that I could see myself sticking with it for as long as I have the Premiere subscription, which I think is for 6 months. So if it... if it's still awesome by then, I'll see about renewing Premiere just to keep playing it. But, yeah, so it's good. I mean, obviously some of the positives people have heard about. The customization is the best I've seen since City of Heroes. Hands down. Like, it's the best. Not so much character creation, it's more, customizing your javelin and the look and the texture, of the colors and paint. Is it metal? Is it, painted thick? You can do all that stuff. And
wow.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it reminds me of if you remember City of Heroes, where you could literally like create any kind of wacky color combination you can imagine, and trust me, some people do. But it's very, very cool, so I am enjoying it. I played that. I played a bunch of Bard's Tale 4. I did a good hour of that at least for the stream, and I played more over the weekend. Still loving that game. And it was funny, I just posted on Twitter that I was going to be playing it, going to be doing some streaming. And I had tagged In Exile, playing In Exile's hit from last year, Bard's Tale 4. And them and Brian Fargo got back. They're like, have a blast. I was like, oh, sweet. They saw me. But, yeah, so I'm enjoying that. And other than that, that's pretty much all I've been playing. I've been, and I did, because we have something special coming up this week, I broke out Conquest of the Longbow from Sierra. It's their Robin Hood adventure game, and I started playing that a little bit today. And aside from that, I've been watching a ton of Conan the Adventurer reruns that I can find online anyway.
Nice.
Reason being, I think we mentioned this before, but this coming Friday, barring any, scheduling, rescheduling, we're actually going to be interviewing writer, screenwriter, lead story writer, game designer, Christy Marx. She worked at Sierra back in the what Nick and I could refer to as their golden age.
Yes.
Yeah, she was the lead designer for the Conquest series, which was Conquest of Camelot, where you played as King Arthur, and then Conquest of the Longbow, where you played as Robin Hood. Both games were pretty damn famous for just how deep the lore went. You could tell the research that went into the game really dove into the folklore and did one of those deep dives, because it got into some details that you didn't normally hear of in a lot of your common Arthurian mythos or Robin Hood mythos, and this went full bore. So I'm very excited to talk to her. I know we are, very excited to talk to her, not just from the game perspective, but she's inevitably, if you're above the age of 30, 35, around there, you've inevitably watched something she had a hand in. She did some episodes of G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero. She did an episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My wife was completely giddy to find out she was the lead story editor and creator of Gem. Gem is Outrageous Gem. That was all her. And she is also the lead storyteller and creator of the Conan the Adventurer cartoon, which was my hands down favorite growing up. I never missed an episode. So it is going to be really, really cool to talk to her, and we're excited. That's coming up on Friday. So I was just trying to dive back into some of that stuff to try to refresh my memory of some questions that I wanted to ask. I unfortunately will not be getting the answer that I have so long hoped for, because I had sent her some questions I did want to ask just to make sure it was okay. And one of the questions I asked her was, did anybody ever win that trip to Sherwood? Because on the Robin Hood box, and I still remember, it always stuck with me, a very vivid memory, but I even Google image searched it just to make sure I wasn't crazy, and I saw a picture of the front of the box, and there it was. It was win a trip to Sherwood on the Conquest of the Longbow box, and I always wondered, who the hell won that trip? But she told me she had no idea, and so I was like, all right, I'll strike it, and that made me sad. I was hoping she knew, but no. So other than that, we'll be talking to her, and very excited there. But all right, that is it for me as far as what I've been playing and watching, and that will bring us to upcoming releases that we are interested in. I'll take the first two. Division 2 is coming up on March 15th. It looks
fast.
I know, and it looks good. I've talked to some of the Good for Gaming crew. They're going to be getting it on PC, and I watched some of the beta streams. It looks like a lot of fun. So I was able, Amber gave me the thumbs up to get a game for Valentine's Day, and that's what I wound up picking up. And I also, because I bought it through Uplay or whatever, it came with a free game for pre-ordering, so I grabbed Ghost Recon Wildlands. So that looked kind of fun.
Oh, that is hella fun.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you have it on PC?
I do.
Dope. All right, we'll have to play.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to do the co-op part of it, I am down to clown on that thing. That is such a fun.
Awesome. All right, then I'm totally game there because I got it. Well, I got it. I got it coming. I think I get it the week of or something like that.
Okay.
And then the other thing, it came out. I guess it's been out for a couple weeks now, but it is incredible, and I've been wanting to get on here and just scream its praises. I started playing it last night at 11:30, and I had every intention, I was going to go to bed, and I had set it to download earlier in the night, and I was like, I'll just peek my head in and give it a look. And I was up till almost 3 o'clock. And for those of you who are parents, those days are very, very rare. But the game is called Enderal, and it's on Steam, Enderal. All you need to download it and play it is you had to have bought Skyrim, because it is a Skyrim mod, but you don't need Skyrim on your PC, because it is a complete ground-up original game just using that engine. And holy shit, what I've played of it is incredible. The graphics are gorgeous, for one thing. Two, the world and story so far are so interesting. Like, that's half the reason I was up so late last night. And I'm kind of shocked at how surprisingly fucked up this game is. Like, it gets into some really deep crap, and that's within, like, the first 30 minutes. And it's...
So is it like fantasy based or?
Yes. Oh yeah. It's fantasy based, but it's very dark. What I've played of it so far is very dark. But I mean, it's got the combat. I mean, it's somebody in the review said Skyrim 2, the one we wish they would do, or something like that. And it's great. It's its own lore. It's its own world. It's fully voice acted. And I am aghast that this game is free. Like, they could have easily charged $10, $20 for this, and it would have been worth it. But it is 100% free. Like I said, it's fully voice acted, and I've heard it's upwards of anywhere from like 40 to, if you want to do all the side quests and all the side content they have in there, to almost 120 hours.
Wow. And this is just a mod.
Yeah, it's like one of those complete overhaul things.
Wow, that's
like,
incredible.
It is a game. Like, it is a 13 gig game. And like I said, if you've bought Skyrim so that you have the license for it on your Steam account, then you can just go download Enderall. And I highly, highly recommend it. Like, it's one of those, like, I haven't really played something in a long time where the lore is completely original, and then it's something I've never read about, never experienced, and it immediately grabbed me. Like, I was like, whoo, like, I gotta find out more about this. Like, this is really interesting, and it's already going places most games don't go. So I'm very, very excited to play more of this, and I just wanted to, like, get on here and scream about it, because it's free, and it's amazing. So, yeah, if you have Skyrim, go check that out. You have nothing to lose, and I think a lot of you who are Skyrim fans will really enjoy it. So, it's called Enderall. And, yeah, it's great so far. I like the character creation, too. Very cool character.
A doctor after 4 hours.
Yeah. If your Enderall is still standing after 4 hours. With that's it for the releases I'm interested in. There's a couple other items here, so I'll hand that off to, looks like Kyle and Nick. So, Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, mine's not really a release. It's just something I'm interested in going that I found out what the dates were today, and just in case anybody wants to plan for it. May 3rd and May 4th, there's a pinball convention coming to Allentown called Pinfest.
Yes, please.
And it's the Ag... Yeah, seriously, it's in the Ag Center off of 17th Street. Last year I missed it by like a week, and I was bummed because I really wanted to go. I think I'm really going to go this year. I know they got like a flea market. Maybe they'll have some cheap pinball machines. I don't know, but just to go and play. They have a whole free play section in the middle of it, and I'm totally cool with just sitting there drinking a soda and playing pinball for hours.
Oh my god, me too. I love pinball.
Now, what are some of your favorite pinball machines?
I like Ghostbusters.
Oh, I haven't played that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, actually,
a classic one for me has always been like the
Theater of Magic.
Terminator 2 is another one. Yeah,
Theater of Magic, absolutely. Yep, and Terminator 2. I'm trying to think of what else.
Terminator 2 is good. Indiana
Addams
Jones
Family
pinball
wasn't bad.
Indiana Jones, yeah. Addams Family, yeah, I remember that one.
Some of my favorites. I loved what is it? The Getaway. That was the one that had the ZZ Top song. Like the whole time when you played it.
There was a Jurassic Park one, wasn't there?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that had to be. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Jurassic Park one that was great. Oh, son of a bitch! Why am I forgetting this one? I did play a Lord of the Rings one. That was kind of when pinball was on its way out.
I was about to say, like, man, when did that one come out?
That was like the last pinball machine I saw when I went to college, and then it was gone.
Well, there's a couple. I mean, they still get made. I think like Williams still makes them. Is it Williams? And I think there's one of the other one, and there's repros of some of the old ones that still get made. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing like the old. I remember going down to the beach and like the one arcade just had us like the one wall was just a row of pinball machines. And man, I always wonder like what the hell happened to those. Hopefully they're not in some junkyard somewhere.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Oh, Nick, we forgot one of our all-time favorites. Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, yeah, there was a Star Trek one. Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
That was a fantastic pinball table.
Like you had to like shoot the Borg cube, I think, at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was such a good table. It had the music too, which always made it great. But yeah, needless to say, I'm gonna plan on going there. I'm gonna just double check and see if it's kid friendly, and then if it is, bring him and the kids. Because I think the kids would get a real charge out of that. At least I know Mia will, even though she may not be able to reach both buttons. She loves playing pinball on my computer.
I'm sure they'll have chairs.
Yeah, I just mean getting her arms around it.
Oh, arms around. I think she should be okay because Liam played the Ghostbusters one. So I used to play Ghostbusters a lot, and then they had it down there. My wife's friend, husband owns a bar, and we went down there to visit them, and he had one sitting right there in an original one sitting in his bar, and I was just like, dude, if you ever sell that, please let me know. But yeah, we played it there, and they were able to reach, and I think Mia's pretty close to Liam in age, right?
Yes. Yeah, very
so
close.
she should be okay. Yeah, she should be all right.
Yeah, I really do want to go because I know, if anything, I know she'll love it. She loves pinball.
Yeah, well, let's do it. We can go over to the farmer's market for lunch and go back and play some more.
Oh, and go have some pho. Oh.
Yeah, that dude's legit. It's really good.
Yeah, who'd have thought you could get good pho at a farmer's market? But
oh, dude, yeah, just a husband and wife couple straight off the boat.
Yep,
it's delicious.
It's so good. I love just seeing her like go back and stir the gigantic ass pot of broth that has been going since like 4 a.m, and it's just flavored with like tears and dreams. It's wonderful.
It's delicious. Little salty, but delicious. We actually went there Friday. It was my wife's first time having it, and they give you a couple slices of jalapeno that you're supposed to put in as you eat. Not all at once, and so she put them all in at once. But she can handle spicy stuff. But that little red sauce that they give you,
chili garlic, baby, I love that shit.
Super hot. She put quite a bit in her soup, and it was her mouth was on fire. She was sweating. So that was pretty damn spicy.
Person after my own heart. That's how I roll, baby.
Yeah, I just dropped one jalapeno. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I can't do the spicy.
Throw a fistful in there. A fistful of pinos.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Yep.
Next one, I think, is yours, Nick.
Indeed. So Obsidian Entertainment,
love them,
known as the studio that made Fallout New Vegas.
And Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2.
And that's true. Pillars of Eternity. They're working on another game called Outer Worlds. So this is more on the Fallout side of things in terms of they're doing FPS. And it is looking really snazzy. They don't have any.
It looks good.
Any information on when it's coming out. It's just kind of hit my radar recently. So not really an upcoming, but just kind of hit the news blog, and I want to be able to at least talk about it. It's like, yeah, it looks fantastic. It's kind of like a future. I think it's supposed to be like kind of I say space adventure, but like you're on a distant planet type of thing.
And no, I think it is supposed to be a space adventure.
Oh, like you actually go into space type of thing.
Yeah, your ship acts as like a central hub.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
And it's like your fast travel point to different areas in the game and stuff.
Ah, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah,
from what I read on it, like you're like in the outer rim kind of thing.
Yeah. But it's looking killer. It's got kind of like this slow-mo kind of, granted, I say nod to VATS, type of thing. But,
right. But very similar.
Very, very cool. Yeah, very, very similar in terms of like, a burn-down mechanic. Like if you use it all up, then you can't go into slow-mo anymore. So it's not necessarily like a power you can constantly call upon, or at least call upon for a long period of time. But yeah, again, looking really cool. So I'm eager just to keep that on the radar and keep my eye on it and probably report on it eventually when it comes out.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks very cool. And all I have to see is that Obsidian's behind it, and I'm pretty much all in. I mean, Pillars of Eternity is phenomenal. I'm still going through Deadfire, which is Pillars of Eternity 2. And that's Pillars of Eternity with pirates, so it makes it even more fun.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, Deadfire is very good. If you like the first one, you have no reason not to play the second. So, yeah, that should be very good with them at the helm. All right, and that is the releases that we're interested in, and now we'll move into news. And holy shit, has there been a lot of news. Yeah. Do you guys want to start with Nintendo Direct or finish with Nintendo Direct? I don't care how you want to do it.
It's up to you, man.
Well, I guess we'll just go in order. So, Nick, the first one's yours, and you made my day and several other people's, I know, with this news.
Indeed. Capcom, and I think it was it was like right after you guys, I think, had recorded the last episode, and then I think it came out that Monday. But Capcom has released, I think, almost all their soundtracks. Not every soundtrack.
Almost everything. It's ridiculous.
Almost every single one is now on Spotify. So if there's some Capcom game you love out there that is like you enjoy the soundtrack, go on to Spotify. And it's on the playlist, and you can find it that way.
It's under Capcom Sound Department, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, just in case. So you can't just look up Capcom because you'll get a whole bunch of weird stuff. But Capcom Sound Department should be the first one. That's what has everything.
That is how you do it. Damn it. You know your fans are going to pirate it, so you might as well put it on Spotify.
Exactly.
Well, that's in that, and I say that with the full knowledge of, I have spent more money on original video game soundtracks than I care to admit on the air. Thank you, Nick. That is all your fucking fault. Once he started, you can buy that over on this site. And I'm like,
buy it here.
I think Christ, I think in my 20s when I didn't have, kids and a girlfriend and life, I was buying 10 soundtracks a month. I couldn't get enough. But yeah, that's awesome news, man. So we can all listen to Street Fighter while we're slogging through at work. Another something I kind of mentioned earlier off the hand about planning events. This came up in the news this week, and I thought it was just funny timing, with the Fire Festival documentary on Netflix showing what a shit show that was. What was that Dalcon? The Tumblr one, the ball pit one. Anyway, another event in the past that was supposed to be for Tumblr influencers.
Yeah, it was something like that. I can't remember the name of it. But
I can't remember the name of it either. But that was a total shit show because it was planned by amateurs, so it wasn't planned. And it just turned into a mess. And joining the legends of shit show events, there was a Fortnite event over in the UK. And it was not affiliated with Fortnite to the point where Epic is now suing the people that put the event on for damaging their brand.
Oh man! So wait, did they somehow let them do it in the first place, or they just kind of?
They did it, and it was a total shit show, and that's why Epic's going after them now.
Oh, okay.
Because they
you have our permission. Oh, you did it poorly. Now we're gonna nail.
Well, they never gave them permission, and normally
I think it was an unofficial. And it was an unofficial event. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was an unofficial event. And it was supposed to be where the Fortnite community could, do their thing or whatever. So, obviously, again, it was poorly planned. People were waiting in line for hours. And I think they had a total of 4 PCs.
What?
For people to play Fortnite. And you had to pay to play. You had to pay to get in.
So and then pay to get in and then pay. Wow.
And then you had to pay to play a free-to-play game. Needless to say, there were a lot of pissed off people. It went bad. I mean, there's a great article on Kotaku about it, but it was absolutely horrible. And then the update recently this week was that. Oh, God, excuse me. Oh shit! I gotta wake up. But yeah, the recent news this week is that Epic is going after them for not using the name with their permission, or using the name without their permission, and then damaging the brand because it was so epically bad it made like every gaming headline this week. So moral there, kids: don't put on an event if you don't do it for a living.
But did they have a ball pit?
I don't think they did, but that was absolutely the first comment that appeared on the Kotaku article was, well, if they were charging you to play Fortnite, at least you could have got an extra hour in the ball pit.
In the ball pit.
And then that got like 20 comments of, oh, I'm so glad this happened right away.
And again, like if you're not familiar with the previous, oh man,
the ball pit one. I'm gonna look it up right now because you have to look this up.
I forget like, specifically what it was for, but one of the things was this like pool
DashCon
or DashCon.
DashCon.
What is DashCon?
DashCon was the fan convention catering primarily to users of the blogging service Tumblr, with a particular emphasis on with an emphasis on fandoms, and that was where what did they invite? They they were supposed to have like all these big fandoms from Tumblr. Oh, for Doctor Who, Sherlock, Supernatural, Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh wow, I didn't even that part. I just remember like no one of like celebrity status or anything like showed up to this thing.
And some that did were more like celebrities in the community. And there were some celebrities that were actually slated to be there, and then they found out that they had to pay for everything. Like the convention didn't put them up in a room or anything, so they all pulled out. And this one group that went, like, they weren't even told they had to pay until they got there, and they went after them for money, and they never got paid.
Yeah, it's like everyone was like mad. Everyone needed the money, and like I think even like hotel rooms got trashed, and and that's that was just like the guess, not necessarily like the ballrooms where the hotel had like set them up with their original thing. But yeah, the ball pit always stood out because it was this kid pool, like the one you have in like a backyard that you fill with your hose, size thing, and they had balls in it, and it was the ball pit, and like I forget, like it was like compensation or something, like it's like, oh, if you had to wait in line really long or something, like you get an extra hour in the ball pit.
Yeah, organizers reimbursed those who had purchased tickets for the panel with tickets to a raffle of various autographed collectibles, admission to a concert with the Chicago-based Doctor Who inspired rock band Time Crash, and an extra hour with the ball pit.
It's just wow.
Yeah, again, moral of the story: if you don't do events for a living, don't try to put one on. Or at least work with somebody who does.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. Fortnite Party shit show.
Unbelievable.
The next piece of big news, I think everybody's heard of at this point. Reggie has stepped down from Nintendo as president of Nintendo America. And who is he replaced by, Kyle?
Bowser. Doug Bowser. Probably the greatest president ever. Name-wise.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think there's ever been a transition of presidential power in the gaming world that has been so televised for being so circumstantially awesome.
Yeah, right? Let's just say there's never going to be another Mario game again, I'm sure.
Right? Just Bowser games for days.
The memes that have been created for this have been amazing too, like Mario and Luigi tied up in his desk.
Yep.
I did see that.
There was another where he's sitting there and it's Bowser Jr. sitting next to him and they're both working on something. It's just like a stuffed animal. It's just like father and son. Father and son take your work day. It was like, that's amazing.
I don't think a transition like that has ever gotten this much publicity. It's great.
No, and you know what though? It took a little bit of the sting out because I like Reggie.
I love Reggie.
I think he did a great job. He was always super excited about the games that they've done. And he just seemed like a pretty chill dude. He didn't seem like a douche at all. He seemed pretty down to earth, and so it was kind of like, oh man, he's retiring. And then you see that name, you're like, oh well,
Did
this,
they plan this?
like, this might be awesome. But Reggie gave a really good heartfelt goodbye to the fans.
You
I
could
thought
tell
that
he
was great.
loved the community. You could tell, and he
did,
loved his job.
Yep, he did, and I think he gave and Doug Bowser, besides the jokes, he's saying like thanks for the warm welcome. He's been really gracious about it too, and
Yep.
Hopefully this just means that Nintendo continues to do as well as they've been the past year or two. So,
and the thing is, like, he's actually been, both behind the scenes and like kind of in front of the scenes for quite a bit now, but
Long
obviously
time.
overshadowed by Reggie. But yeah, if you go back to watch like various E3s and like, I was doing a little research, like, oh man, this guy's actually, done a lot of stuff before, just, never really fully taken that, the spotlight, so to speak. So definitely as what I would call it, Nintendo street cred, if you will.
Oh yeah, they picked the right
absolutely.
guy.
They did.
It just so happens his name is that much more awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like Joe Smith was going for the job too, or Doug Bowser.
Look, we know Joe's got more credentials, but Joe, it's just not your time. It's just not your time.
That's gonna be the hiring credentials from now on, going on for all game companies. Like Sony's gonna hire someone named Kratos.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like their president.
Oh my god. President Solidus? Oh, that wouldn't be Xbox, that would be PlayStation. Because Xbox doesn't really have exclusives.
No, you're President Forza.
President Crackdown. Ugh. Anyway. Speaking of Nintendo, that'll bring us to Nintendo Direct. What is Nintendo
did you guys
Direct?
watch?
I did.
It was good.
A very good Nintendo Direct. They've got a lot coming out.
They do. First and third party. Some excellent stuff coming out. I put the list here. If guys feel free to add anything as I go along here. But like Yoshi's Crafted Story was a really cool game that I got to play with the kids. They had the demo that they released for free right after. And they gave you one level, but man, really, really unique mechanics for that. Everything looks like cardboard cutouts that were colored with marker.
Oh, cool.
So really colorful, charming game. Not super difficult, but usually the Yoshi games aren't. They're more for just to play, to have a really chill experience. I mean, they can be hard if you collect everything, but you can probably blow through it really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to my surprise 2 last. So I'm going to say Ultimate Alliance 3. I'm pretty excited about that one.
Glad to
I know
see
people
that.
are complaining. Yeah, people are complaining it's an exclusive, but you know what? Spider-Man's on Sony. It's
there's always one,
right.
Yeah, and Ultimate Alliance was a Nintendo exclusive for a long time. It was on the GameCube before it ever came to the other systems.
Good point. Yeah, very good point.
Long time.
And it'll come out on other systems later, I think. Yeah. So
yeah, they're not Sony.
No, they're not. I think if anything, like Nintendo will probably release it to Microsoft eventually, because they seem to be dealing really well with each other with the whole Minecraft and the Xbox Live thing. So
yep,
that's pretty cool. I really thought the Zelda's Link Awakening, I was not expecting that at all. That was a good throw, and I think that looked really cool. The style that they went with, I think it looks like a fun game. I like Link's Awakening for Game Boy. So
absolute classic.
Yeah, it is, and I think they did a good job with it. So I'll be picking that one up.
Oh yeah.
And then Platinum Games showed one called Astral Chain, where it looks like you're chained up with another person, and that's how you have to fight and play through the game. Platinum Game does they do excellent games on Nintendo platforms. And I'm super excited about this one. They did really good with Bayonetta, and now they have this one. I think it looks like a pretty cool game.
Hell yeah. Did you see the thing for Mario Maker 2?
I did. I didn't put that on here, and I should have. That looks awesome.
That looks cool as shit.
I played the shit out of the first one.
Yeah, Mario Maker was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. So I'm excited to see that coming out. That might actually... Oh, that might push me to get a Switch.
Do it.
Oh, I
you
played
won't
the
regret
hell out
it.
of the original.
Yeah, you won't. There's so much fun stuff on the Switch. I don't think you'd regret it.
I know I wouldn't. With that, and I want to play the Pokemon ones too.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like, so you have a PC and you have Xbox. 90% of this stuff that you can get on a PlayStation, you can get on those. There's a couple exclusives you can't, but like for the most part, You can get that stuff on Xbox. A lot of the stuff for Nintendo you can't get for another system.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think like the good balance is. So,
yep.
I got to tell you, my surprises were Mortal Kombat 11 and Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah,
very mature games coming to the Switch there.
Yeah, that definitely threw me for a loop. Like, whoa, really?
Yeah. Did you see some of the fatalities they were showing off for MK11?
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck, that's coming to Nintendo?
They've really been throwing everything at it.
And it's certainly not like the first time something mature on, but like this is like the first of like something of note.
Yeah,
this mature.
Right, and that's the thing too. Like Doom 2016 came out on the Switch, and like that's pretty violent, but it's not like Mortal Kombat level violence. I mean, and I wasn't expecting that's a new release too. So Doom was already out for a year or two, so it wasn't really like meh. But Mortal Kombat 11, that's coming off fresh and coming right out to the Switch, and that's impressive.
And let me tell you, I saw a fatality where one character basically slices somebody's upper torso off, and then drags them by their dangling spinal cord, and as they're dragging along the ground, their eye flies out of the socket.
Like, I love how over the top that shit is with Mortal Kombat.
It's great, but I could just see, like, if I had a Switch and I got that for myself, my daughter sneaking it and going, "Oh my god!"
Cover your eyes. Don't look at it.
Keep your eyes shut, Marion.
He was a very bad man, so he deserved everything I'm about to do to him.
And this is why you don't steal cookies.
Could you imagine looking at that kid's face?
Oh my god, they'd be mortified. Oh god. Oh, that's great.
Give that kid a nightmare.
Give that kid fucking 10 years of therapy. Shit.
Dude, and this is the thing, like, I want to get that Mortal Kombat arcade machine for the arcade 1-up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm afraid, like, I'm going to be playing it, and the kids are going to want to see it, and I'm ripping someone's freaking head off with their spine dangling down. And they're like, what's that? Like, oh,
go to bed.
His Pez dispenser broke, all right? It was just a Pez dispenser. You're fine, I guess. Yeah,
you
gotta
all
make
good.
something up, but... Yeah.
It's just Kool-Aid. Go to bed!
So, I don't know if there's any other ones you guys want to bring up, but those were the ones that stood out to me the most.
That's a good list right there.
Yeah, it's a great list. Yeah, like I said, Mario Maker 2 was my big standout. But it all looks good.
I downloaded the Mech Warrior game that they had, the Mech Fighter. Seemed cool if you're into Mech Fighter games. I'm kind of not, so it wasn't really that great to me, but I don't know, it was worth the demo.
I love Mech Warrior games.
Yeah,
but
I can't get into them.
It is a group all its own, though.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
That
was Nintendo Direct. That was some good news. Unfortunately, it can't be all good news, and this week was definitely a bit of a weird, I'd say this week and a half, was definitely a pretty rough bit of news in the industry. Obviously, it's getting towards the end of the second quarter, and earnings have come out, and it's very interesting to see what some of these studios do. Obviously, the big one that everybody heard about, Activision Blizzard reported record earnings for the year, their highest earnings yet, and got rid of 800 people.
That was baffles me. Really?
Yeah, I got nothing. I think it's part of me. I look at what they did, and some of the people they got rid of were for communities that they were shutting down, like Heroes of the Storm. Obviously that game is getting shut down if it's not shut down already. I know they're winding down on it.
Well, yeah, but I think they're keeping it up, but they're just not going to do as much, like releases and or any kind of like esports stuff related to it either. Like they're backing that up.
Yeah. And just, I don't know. I mean, the way it's not even so much that they did it. I mean, I get it, a business is a business, whatever, but it was the callousness. If you listen to the earnings call, because those things, they are public, And the way that Bobby Kotick was just like referring to people as like assets or something like that. It was very like
Those guys cold.
it was very dehumanizing and like very cold. And I think that's where a lot of the bad press came from. Is it there was like just I mean I get it. You to become a CEO, I'm pretty sure you have to sell your soul at some point. It just, I don't know. The way you see some of these guys act and the way he was talking about, people with families and lives, I understand you can't be huggy and, the world has its problems, but it was just pretty disheartening to listen to. And, again, my heart kind of goes out to all those people that lost their jobs. Hopefully they land on their feet soon. Yeah. And I do like how a lot of the gaming journalism industry came together in some solidarity there. I forget what company it was, but it was another famous game design company, and PC Gamer posted an article the next day that was like, this company reports record earnings, it doesn't lay off anybody. I wish I could find the article, but it was the most beautiful fuck you to Blizzard I've ever seen. So yeah, Blizzard is gutting. EA is gutting their studios. I didn't get exact numbers there, but I did hear they're going to be doing some layoffs. And the big one that shocked me was ArenaNet is supposed to be going through a round of some pretty big layoffs. They're the company behind Guild Wars 2. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, granted, Guild Wars 2 has more or less felt like it's been on autopilot, more or less. They've been putting out various seasons of their stories and whatnot, but yeah, apparently they're going through that process. I don't think they've I don't know if they've had the actual meetings yet or met with all the people, but it's like they are going to be releasing people, which is weird how it kind of came out. And apparently they're gutting like the whatever projects were being worked on are being let go. So they had some kind of secret project, whether it's related to Guild Wars or not, we have no idea. And then some of them, I guess some of the actual, like current Guild Wars 2 staff are in that group, so to speak, as well. So
yeah, it's just it's sad because I remember playing the second Guild Wars and just the way they were able to push out some really awesome content and like game-changing stuff that the players had a hand in. I thought it was such a ahead of its time kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if they were necessarily the first, but like they're definitely what I always consider one of the more prominent ones where they had like these continual seasons. I want to say like Star Trek may have been the only other like front runner also doing it at the same time, maybe a little bit earlier. Yeah. But in terms of like having like having this main storyline, MMO portion to it. Now, obviously, you can say the same thing of potentially Blizzard, but they kind of did it more via their not DLCs, but their expansion packs essentially.
Yeah.
The expansion packs would be the total content drop, and then there wouldn't really be anything in between. Whereas I think both Star Trek and Guild Wars 2 were kind of the introduction of this kind of seasonal mentality of like, you don't have to pay for a new expansion. We're going to give you something every 6 months to 3 quarters or so. Plus we're gonna like dot it with like all these little things kind of in between, maybe like kind of, and or have maybe a larger arcing storyline. So it wouldn't be like again, it wouldn't be like a complete content drop like an expansion pack, but maybe like every 2 to 4 weeks there'd be like, here's this little story snippet. And here's the next one. Here's the next one. And then by around the 6 month mark, if you kind of look back and if you did it all at once, it'd be like this would be like a complete content drop for either like a chapter of an expansion pack or along those levels. And I always thought it was the most clever thing and really fun to do at the same time, because it meant like, okay, I can play casually and like play this new content and have some fun with it, and then I can go back to like either like grinding like a dungeon or continue leveling a character or whatever, and then it's like, oh, I can come back again next week and get the next part of the story. It was just kind of like this nice little drip feed that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing during those kind of peak days with you, with my buddy Josh. I remember when Fractals came out; that was really fun. But yeah, it's sad to see, and I think you might have wrote this in there, but it's a good question. Are we seeing kind of a collapse, or is this business as usual? I think it is unusual that all of these big companies are laying off at the same time.
And that's probably the I'd say, from my perspective, the most concerning part about it all. It's like, because it's like, all the big, for everything from the big wigs to the small studios. This is for better or worse, and unfortunately, part of the industry itself. It's like
Yeah.
especially if the studio is only really committed to one or two games or something, and then it's like once the game is done, it's like you're going to be closing down, going on to the next project. It always seems like the bigger the studio, the better chance that you may be taken off a particular project when it's done, but
right, and going to another.
Yeah, you'll be pushed into another thing. It's like, okay, you're going to use your skill set over here, and continue that lineage of having a job at least, but obviously working on a different project. But yeah, it's like now it's like on this the question is it a collapse or just business as usual? It's like they're doing it all at the same time, and
that is concerning.
And you kind of look at, like, granted, this is always something like very much in the long run. It's not like something that happens immediately, but you kind of look at this last season, in terms of the holiday season. It's like there were very little games that were really coming out or just really notable.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make the argument, it's like, okay, all this stuff got delayed and we're getting it now. I mean, we had like Ace Combat, we got Metro, we got Resident Evil 2, and Anthem's coming out. Like, that's all dropping. We got a few more coming in March here, and it's like, is it a result of just like bad Q4 type of thing, or is this something longer running?
I don't know. It's hard to say because you don't see a lot coming from the big studios right now. And I think you've seen a lot of misses from the big studios. I mean, obviously, Fallout 76 was a big miss for Bethesda. That I know that hurt them financially. I know Anthem, all said and done, at least on as far as reviews are going, seems like, critically it's a big miss, and that bad publicity can definitely hurt. So I think what we're almost seeing is a weird shift in balance. Although ArenaNet is definitely the outlier here, but a lot of these bigger studios are, pouring more and more money into the next AAA title, and these titles are kind of failing to deliver. Okay, we had Red Dead 2, which was awesome, but I don't want to say it was, it's one of my favorite games, but I still like the first one more, and that's a weird thing to say. It's just, I think we're starting to see a lot of these big developers are starting to hit a sort of plateau where there's only so much money you can throw at a game to make it good. And then you have somebody like Concerned Ape come along, and Chucklefish Publishers, and he works 2 years by himself, 3 years by himself on Stardew Valley and releases one of the biggest hits in the past, 5 years. So, I don't know. I mean, is it shifting more towards smaller studios and indie developments? Maybe. I think a lot's going to depend on what the next big title is and how it does for each of these studios. So Elder Scrolls 6, if Blizzard is working on Diablo 4, whatever their next big Diablo project is, I mean, I could tell you that if neither of those deliver, I think those companies are in big trouble.
Agreed. And I think part of it may almost be just, they need to innovate, because, you're talking about all these small studios. Is like, it's always something either extremely unique or just like, there's back a letter term, right, soul to the game itself.
Yeah.
Whereas, not that necessarily sequels are a bad thing, but sequels often are a result of just like the previous thing worked, let's just do it again.
And you see that a lot with EA, Bethesda, Blizzard.
And sometimes it does work. Like, I mean, it's like we talked about like the Skyrim series. Like, yeah, it's like that so far has worked. But then you look at Fallout, it's like, was Fallout 76 a bridge too far, or just simply they didn't, again,
Yeah.
lack of better term, put soul into it, some heart into it. And it's not to say that the devs, aren't trying or anything like that. But
Oh no, I don't point the finger at the devs at all.
Yeah, there has to be something to the game that players hook into,
This is more on the designers and the people making the decisions of what games to greenlight. And I think that's the problem we're starting to see with a lot of these AAA titles, is they're not innovating, they're not taking chances. They're jumping in on the next big thing. You look at Battlefield, Call of Duty, everyone's trying to do a battle royale game now. Like, me too,
yes.
Me too. And I'm sorry, but unless you're Tetris, I don't want to play your battle royale. Although you gotta give mad props to the Titanfall developers. I can never remember them. Remedy, I think. But Apex Legends has just come onto the scene and kicked Fortnite in the nuts. I mean, it is a really great VR game, and I'm not a big fan of those games, to be honest, but this game really innovated. It had a lot of really cool features that I've seen that I haven't seen in any of these other games. Like, the ping system is brilliant, where you can tag, like, weapons that'll, notify your team, hey, there's guns over here, there's ammo over here, or there's an asshole up in that tower. Like, and you just do it by clicking the mouse wheel. It's, like, simple and easy and great. So there's a lot of innovation there. But, yeah, anyway, I just think a lot of these AAA companies, because they're not innovating, are in trouble. And you're going to see a lot more, I think, come out from these smaller studios that's going to be pushing the envelope, at least for the near future. All right, so that is the end of news. I did mention before we are interviewing Christy Marx on Friday. I cannot wait. That's Friday, March 1st. Looking forward to that. From then on, we shall move to the Save Point game of the month, which is Boogerman.
Yeah, did you guys get to play it at all?
I did.
I have not, unfortunately.
I didn't miss much.
It's Earthworm Jimmy in feel. Like, it's got nice graphics for, what it is. It kind of has that Earthworm Jim feel to me, and like on a platform sense.
It's like the CVS version of Earthworm Jim.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of a good way to compare them, but yes, like the LJN.
The shit consoles you get. It's yeah. There you go.
The LJN Earthworm Jim. The first 10 minutes are funny. He's a superhero that flicks boogers, farts, and belches at people, and that's his superpowers, and he's dirty and he stinks. And it's just juvenile fart jokes, and I could see why I really thought it was a hysterical game when I was 10 or 11 years old. I enjoyed maybe 10 minutes of it, and then I said, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, it's definitely colorful. I like the graphics, actually. I think the animations are done pretty well.
Yeah.
Putting the gross effects aside and the farts and stuff, like, my kids got a good kick out of it. Yeah, it's okay. My problem was some of the platforming was weak. Like, you'd go to jump on a branch and you would fall through it.
Yeah.
That shit drives me nuts in old games. And,
yeah.
This one did it a lot. My biggest gripe with the game, though, honestly, was like 4 levels of the same thing until you get to a boss. And same music, same graphics, same enemies. Yep. It was just highly repetitive and just very boring. I mean, it wasn't hard at all to get to the boss. It's super easy, just fly through the levels. And then you get to the boss, and his pattern is all over the place, so he's kind of a pain in the ass. It's not that he's hard, because it's just he mixes his pattern up a lot. So it's like, you're trying to dodge, and then that's when he decides to jump, and it's just cheap hits, really.
Oh, so it's like Cuphead.
Yeah, but Cuphead is when you F up, it's your fault. This one's like,
no.
You just go to jump and dodge, and then the guy just automatically jumps into you. It's not like there's any kind of move you could have done different to avoid the hit.
Right.
So I think it's not a good game. I would not give it a high score at all.
Middling.
I don't
know.
Go ahead.
I'd say middling. I'd maybe give it a 5, and that'd be being generous.
Yeah, I'd give it like a maybe a 3 or 4. And I played this as a kid. I remember renting it thinking this is going to be hysterical.
Yeah.
And just being really blah about the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So it just wasn't. And obviously it hasn't held up. I feel about the same as I did back then. It was a waste of a rental. I mean, if you're really going to compare this to Earthworm Jim is an incredible platform.
Oh, yeah. No, I meant more in the animation and graphics. Like,
sure.
The animation, it reminded me, like, it had that smooth... It had a similar feel to me that like Earthworm Jim did, at least in that sense. But yeah,
it's disappointing.
Disappointing.
Yep.
All right. Let me just see where we're at here. Okay, so that is our game of the month. We'll now move on to our question of the bye week. We have a voicemail and a save point reply. The question of the bye week was, now that Bowser is taking over Nintendo, what Bowser-themed game would you like Nintendo to make? And we have a post from Jeremy Winterstein that says, don't have much of a voice, so I'm hoping it's alright to put my answer here. Yes, it is, Jeremy, though we do appreciate the voicemail when you can call. Honestly, I would love to see a Bowser Castle tower defense game where you have to use chain chomps, twerps, piranha plants, etc. against Mario and Luigi to prevent them from getting into the castle. Kind of like Mario Maker, but strategy instead of platforming focused. Holy crap, that sounds awesome. I'd play the hell out of that. I wanted to like message you privately, Jeremy, and be like, why don't you go approach Nintendo with that? Because that's a really cool idea. See if you can get them to pay you for it. Like, it's a very popular style of game, the tower defense games, and I've never really seen a Mario one. I think they could do something really cool with that.
They could, especially from a Bowser point of view.
Yeah.
I think that was a really good idea.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. We'll go to the voicemail or do you want to do ours and then go to the voicemail?
No, voicemail's fine. That's
a
voicemail.
So we have a voicemail this week.
What is going on, gentlemen? What is going on? The place to be tonight, the theretrorents studio. All right, enough of that. You're right. Okay, roll up, but anyway. Okay, so let's see. It's been a while. Yes, I know. I fell off the phone again. Okay, I'm trying my best. It's not easy. Sometimes you'll have fun in life. Says no, you got other things to do, so you got to give into life and the fun things on the side. But I'm back. Yes, I'm back. So let's see. The question was with Bowser, he's taking over Nintendo. Reggie got kidnapped and stuff. Well, yeah, I know he retired. I don't know. Don't you wonder why the guy retired? I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't want to work my whole life, but I mean, come on, the man had a job where it must have been fun to go to work. I mean, he was in on everything. You knew what was coming out. He had to try everything. You got to test things. You got to do all kinds of neat things. Yet he still hung it up. I'm kind of surprised. I really am. I was really kind of surprised. But anyway, I wish the best to Reggie. I think he did a great job when he was at Nintendo, and I wish him the best with the rest of his future plans and whatever he's going to do. Anyway, on to us as normal people, not these superstars. So what games? Games. You know that Mario Galaxy was pretty good. I'd like to see that be remade. I thought that was a pretty good game. Another good game where, Bowser really didn't have much to do. I don't even know if Bowser was in it, period. If he was, maybe just the littlest bit, but Paper Mario, A 1,000-Year Door. Man, I thought that game was outstanding.
That was a good
baby
one.
back. I'd play that again. Now, here's a question, especially for Al, but everybody else on the show, of course. But now that Game Pass might be coming to the Switch, would you buy a Switch for that? Would that push you over the edge there, Al? Huh?
Yes.
Make you want to buy the old Switcheroonie now that you have Game Pass on it also. Curious. I'm sure my time's running out. There's probably some lady standing there. If the time's with stopwatch ticking away, tick, 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 tick. I'm going to shut this guy off. So I'm going to go and leave you all with the Arriba Turkey. Have a good one, guys.
A good one, Fred. Arriba Turkey, my friend.
Arriba Turkey.
Yeah, good stuff there. I loved Paper Mario. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. I'd love to see like a Bowser version of that from his point of view. I thought the art style was cool, and it was just a cool way of telling a story. Yeah, if Game Pass is coming to the Switch, that makes it really tempting for me. If a similar service where I could try a bunch of Switch games, and they loaded it up like Microsoft has for Xbox, then it's worth it to me, because right now I have an Xbox and I have a PC, and games are expensive. So it's one of those, like, if I get a Switch, it's completely out of my gaming ecosystem. So it's all new games, and it's all games I can't get anywhere else. So that means money. So if they were doing a kind of a Game Pass service, would that tempt me to get a Switch? Absolutely. That would make it nigh impossible for me to resist. I will say that. So if I do get news on that's going to be confirmed, and that's something they're going to do, and they load it with more games than Nintendo has been doing with their online service, yeah, sign me up. Sign me up.
Yeah, Nintendo Xbox team up type of thing would be brutal, like brutally awesome. I mean, like it would just be really badass. Would love that.
Oh yeah, like that. That's like the ultimate team up, and you can almost feel like they've been treading that water. They've been testing it, kind of sticking their feet in, playing around with each other, making some cross-play. It's like new neighbors. Like new neighbors.
Yeah, a little bit of foreplay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that college party. They're playing a little footsie under the table or in the hot tub.
You play with my joystick. I'll push your buttons.
Yeah, before you know it, they're going to be going Gamepad Pro, on their sticks. It'll be crazy. So, just crazy Nintendo orgy. So, yeah, I'm all about that. Let's see what happens. Bowser in the pool, Mario getting people pregnant, mass hysteria.
Crazy.
No, but I do agree. I think that would be one hell of a team up. I can see that giving Sony room for concern. We'll just say that.
Indeed.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think Nintendo will ever let their games go on Xbox, but I think they're more than happy to have Xbox games on the Switch.
Yep, I could see that.
And I think Xbox is totally cool with that, too. They're just
sure
fine, we don't care.
I think that would be enough.
Yep.
I think so, absolutely. So we shall see. Obviously, yeah, like I said, if they release a Game Pass service where, Nintendo Switch has loaded it with 50 games that are Switch games and they're good games, sign me up. I'll be getting a Switch within a check or two. I think that will bring us to the end here.
Wait, we didn't do our answers.
Oh,
come on.
God damn it, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Let's start with you.
I'll just jump in. First, I want to say my buddy Chris, he had an idea, and he didn't post it on our Facebook, but I talked to him before. Can you guys hear me? Am I coming in?
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, sorry. I've been cutting out. So he had a really cool idea where what if Wart comes back from Mario Brothers 2,
Ooh.
takes over the entire kingdom, and Bowser has to begrudgingly save everybody so he can be king again and defeat Wart. So you'd have this just like monster battle between Bowser and Wart at the end. I think would be freaking awesome. I thought that was a great idea.
Don't say that too loud. I'm sure Nintendo will steal it.
Yeah, they should. I thought that was a great idea because mine was more just like, well, it's an alternate type universe where Bowser and I'm just Bowsette, which I know is Bowser wearing Peach's crown, but Jesus, where Mario takes Bowsette and Bowser just goes ape shit and destroys everything to get her back. So that was mine. Fairly simple, but that's my idea.
Yeah. What about you, Sir Nicholas? Or a Bowser-themed game?
Yeah, so, non-traditional, I'd like to see some kind of, like, kaiju-esque style game. Just kind of like, rampant destruction or something like that. It'd be hard to describe, and I don't know if there's necessarily been a game like it. I mean, there's like, destruction-type games. But just like, just kind of like, it could be even like build it up and then like kind of destroy it and, Bowser's kind of running through and, kind of something along those lines. I don't know.
What was the game for Neo Geo? Was that Monster Fighter? What the hell was it? It was like a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
On the city was the wrestling ring.
I know which one you're talking about. I can't put my finger on it.
So like that mixed with like
Yeah.
Rampage would just be amazing with Bowser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
That would be sweet. I'd love to see that. Oh man, that's a really good idea. Shit. It kind of made me forget mine, although mine wasn't probably very good. I was trying
King of
to...
the Monsters. King of the Monsters.
King
I'm
of the
sorry.
Monsters.
King of the Monsters.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Great
it.
game.
Yeah, it
Played
is
that
a
at
great
Major
game.
Magics.
That is a great game. See, for me, I was thinking like some kind of Bowser invasion to a different Nintendo series. Like, I was trying to think of how you could combine Bowser and Metroid. I feel like if you could figure that formula out, you've got an awesome game on your hands. Like, he'd have like different abilities, and it'd be like Metroidvania in that sense, but because he's so big and lumbering, like he could also destroy like most of the structure in the world. So it's like if you're caught by a ledge you can't reach, well, just punch your way through the wall or something. I don't know. It wasn't a very good idea, but I feel that's
No, it's
why
not a bad idea. You can get somehow.
Like the Metroidvania.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I liked the idea of him kind of invading that kind of universe and trying to take that over, and at the end is like a big clash between him and Mother Brain. Who knows?
Who do you think would win?
Bowser, fucking hands down.
Yeah, Bowser would fuck her up.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. You're shooting little rings at me? Pff.
Yeah, as Bowser just gives her a face full of back shell spikes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, with all the tricks he has up his sleeve, like becoming as large as a building, as long as she doesn't grab him by the tail, he's good. Once you get him by the tail, you can just swing him around in circles and chuck him, and he's screwed.
So long, King Bowser.
See ya. All right, that is our answers for the question of the bye week, which does officially now bring us to conclusions, final thoughts, and shout-outs. We'll always start with you, Mr. Kyle. Who would you like to shout out this week?
Just the listeners, really. Thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Thanks for supporting us. Big shout out to them.
Yeah. How about you, Nick?
Nothing specific. I'll just say, shout out to Wargaming for a great event this weekend at the Massachusetts. So that was hella fun. I want to see more East Coast, do more East Coast ships.
Yeah. Absolutely. I will give a big shout out, obviously, to the fans. Thank you guys so much for supporting us, spreading the word. Again, things just keep growing on us, and it's pretty wild. I really appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. Thanks to all our pals in the podcasting community who help, spread the word, retweet our, voicemail and show dates. Really do appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to the Good for Gaming crew. We really had a hell of a weekend raising money for the Able Gamers charity. Big thank you to Good for Gaming for letting me be a part of it. And helping me kind of get my setup, looking somewhat professional, sounding somewhat professional. And I really appreciate, just being able to help raise some money for this awesome charity. Again, Able Gamers helps get peripherals and setups designed for people with disabilities so they can get back to video gaming with their friends and family and the things that they enjoy. We had a goal originally of $1,000. And when I last checked, which was about an hour ago, thanks to Rufio and his crazy crew, I think we hit $2,500 as of
Nice.
earlier today. Yeah, so it's really gone great, and I was really happy to be a part of it. And good on you, everybody at Team Good for Gaming. That was really, really good. Really fun event. And thanks to everybody that came and hung out on my stream and just kept it fun for a couple hours and sat and suffered through Anthem loading screens. Other than that, a big shout out to our pals at the Everyday Gamers. They had just put up a new show recently. It had been a while. So go snag that if you haven't. It's a really good episode to start the new year for them. And then a shout out to our buddies over at the Bad Fodder Figures. Fellas, sad to hear there's not a show this week, but that's okay. We'll release one tomorrow to hold the people over. And now, a big shout out to them. They're always a cool group, and they do one of my favorite podcasts. So if you have not checked them out, check out the Bad Fodder, Fodder Figures podcast. It is fantastic. Other than that, if you'd like to interact with us outside of the show, you can hit us up at the Save Point, which is our book club for games. That's on Facebook. You can get there at tiny.cc/savepoint. You can email us if you still have one of those email contraptions. We are theretrorents@gmail.com. Or more direct interaction, you can hit us up on Twitter at theretrorents. Or if you want to talk to us individually, you can reach us at @retrorentsal. For myself, Nick is at Black Eagle Ops, and Kyle is at Bradley Shirk. And he was on Twitter. I spotted him this week.
One post and I left again.
He did it. He said he was gonna, and he did it. And then on Twitch,
Man of my word.
On Twitch, I am starting to stream a little bit more regularly, though it will be irregular unless I eat more fiber. And that is also RetroRentsL on Twitch. Kyle is Kibis, and Nick is Black Eagle Ops there as well. Nick, do you have any streaming events you want to push before we sign off?
No, just my regular times. Still trying to figure out during the week with my new schedule, but Sundays always at 1 p.m.
Sundays, 1 p.m. Alright, folks, then that will bring episode 34 to an end. Thank you for hanging out with us as always. We look forward to coming again in the next 2 weeks. Also, again, keep an eye out. We will be doing a special episode this week as we interview the great Christy Marx. I'm looking forward to that, really looking forward to that, and I can't wait to share it with all of you. Until then, till next time, everybody, be cool. And for all you CEOs out there, don't call people assets. They're people. God damn it. Okay, that's it for me, fellas. Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.
Arriba Turkey.
Arriba Turkey.